What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, bringing you that Speedroid gameplay. I told you this is more of an updated look. There's going to be a few old cards in there, and I'll explain to you maybe why I took them out or my philosophy behind it. But I'll show you this first one here. We're just going to roll right through them. Again, if you look at my deck profile, you know that I love the XYZ pool for wind monsters. I think they're really, really good. What I'm trying to do throughout these replays, like to the best of my abilities at least, is just show you different strengths of these cards. Like maybe I don't always go like the best route, but you can see like the impact that some of these cards have. This one might be a little more traditional, although I think I go really heavy on XYZ here. And I think I go for the number 3 it's called, which is a monster negate. I've changed that out for a spell and trap negation, because I think it actually would have been better here. So it's crazy, right? Like you can level manipulate whatever you want them to be. And those can go into a 3. Yeah, number 75. I was very far off. But okay, so there's a few things I want to tell you about this, right? Like this would be spell and trap negation for me now, because I already have a monster negate. And this also, bounces special summon monsters. The second thing I'll tell you is obviously the very powerful card. Not powerful, but it's one of the dice card that negates attacks. You kind of want it when you have this on the field. If your opponent doesn't know, then they may have wasted their battle phase, everything like that. I'm trying to just stop them from going into junk speeder, everything like that. This card is so good, right? Rubber band shooter, because it only requires wind monsters, not even Speedroids. It's so good. Gives you a lot of flexibility maybe to open your field up. That'll give me one zone to work with. And I think I can still use the effect. I don't even know how far I have to go. What you'll end up doing with Speedroids a lot of the times is you realize you have all the cards that you need, and you'll like have overextended. Like you'll see here, I'm going to search, 5 off the top? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. And I can grab like another form of disruption, but the duel's over. I mean, I can synchro summon into something, but at this point, I can just banish the car turbo and the duel effectively from there with this much attack on the field. I don't have to use anything else. No, the rest of them will just go kind of one by one through them. This is a match I had against a very trap-heavy version of Blue Eyes. I think the first game I played against this guy, he had 2 torrential tributes. There was another one that destroyed all face-up monsters. It was like torrential. And I think an Ice Dragon's Prison. So I sided correctly, which this deck does very well at doing and adjusting that way. Oh yeah, and every time I use Speed Roulette, I only roll a 1. So this is like the worst case scenario, right? And I think in this duel, I just wanted to show off maybe the new Synchro card, like the Speed Duel 1, to blow up monsters. Again, this deck actually works really well as going second deck, because you can get a lot of damage on the field, probably better than most. There are some decks that struggle to assemble lethal in one turn. Not always, but there are always those ones, like Eldritch I feel like is one of those, would probably have a difficult time depending on the build. Like it's all like about, super control, not giving your opponent a chance to come back. See, this is the difficult part of Speedroids, right? Like, you can level manipulate anything on the field. Yeah, here we go. There we go. Clear Wing Rider. Destroy this. And then boom. There it is. There's 8,000 attack, just like that. Let's see what else I have going on here. Again, so you also have to think like in your hand, right? Like what you want to summon. Because if you have a card like Ash Blossom, maybe you go for more spell and trap negate. Not that Ash Blossom is a monster negate. I guess this could be effect failure, but it does like a lot of monsters use these effects, right? That you Ash. So maybe you want to orientate your board depending on what you have in your hand. And that comes with more familiarity. I mean, you're always going to be wanting to do this kind of interaction. Make that a 6. So that's a 1 card, Clear Wing, which is really, really cool. It's easy to forget how good these cards are. But here it is. So just by itself, Crystal Clear Wing, and again, that's kind of why I had the Ash Blossom. That's why I went this route. This guy has a very trap-heavy deck, so I'm not too worried about what he has going on. Because if you think about it, like the monsters in Blue Eyes also, as long as he activates a monster effect and I can boost that attack, then I'm fine against that. And then I can keep using this every single turn. And at this point, I can probably assemble lethal like really, really easily. I'm just like running through. Speedroid Red Eye Dice is so stupid. Normal or special summon, not once per turn. But there you go. There's Baroness to floor, which is an Omni Negate. All of these attacks get boosted. That is game. And we're playing Dino. Oh, and this duel may be... It is. It's so dumb. It seems stupid. And this is another Clearwing matchup that is really good. Again, I roll a 1, right? Of course. All you need is a 2, right, to get 2 monsters. That's really the important part. But yeah, what I was saying is... I've kind of forgotten. What was I just saying? What the heck? That's going to kill me. Well... Crystal Clearwing is a really good matchup in this one. Oh, Hagoita, that's what I was been going for. So obviously you contribute it to change the levels of all monsters. That affects XYZ summoning and synchro summoning. It's not half bad, especially in this matchup where dinos love going into those rank 4 dino monsters. And then, you know, clearly their boss monster is very good too, but this has a good matchup against that as well. So you can either stop it from being summoned, or by the time they activate any monster effect, you just have to wait for one of them, because I think Ultimate Conductor is only at 3,000. So it's unaffected by, it would be unaffected by that effect and also have like more attack. Oviraptor can come down. So there we go. Now I'm safe for the rest of the turn, like this monster in particular. Plus you gain all the attack. And there's Hagoita, because I think this was like game 2 or something like that. He's trying to go into synchro plays. This level is forever manipulated. So I think he's going to try to use Halifibrax and go into like a shooting Quasar, which lets you synchro summon during the turn, or shooting Riser Dragon. But I don't think he has any targets, because who knows what synchros he's trying to go into. That's a 7. That's a 10. That goes, yeah, so I don't think he's got anything to do here. So now I have a monster negate. I'm ready for that. The only thing, obviously, would be the... I think he sent it on to the graveyard here. The Miscellaneous Saurus, excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and negate that. This Archosaur, even if he summoned it and used the effect, would be fine by me, because I have the negate there. And I can hit the Hagoita back, go into like another Crystal Wing if I really wanted to. This is a matchup against Heroes. Speedroid's really nice because the Scratch the New card, I think, requires you to discard a Speedroid monster. I just don't even know how I feel about that card. It's so... This deck is like so consistent, you almost don't need it. And obviously there is the card that lets you discard from your hand anyways. The monster kind of already existed. Talked about that a little bit on the deck profile. And there we go. I mean, so you got to really think here. So I have a monster negate. I have an Ash Blossom. So I maybe want to orientate the Spell and Trap negation. You know, hunker down my defenses for just this turn. And then be ready for the next one here. So I'm going to go into Cork Blaster. And to search the Spell and Trap, I can't bring it back because Marble Machine went to the face-up extra deck. This doesn't look like the best board in the world. But it actually is pretty darn good because, like I said, you're going to be killing your opponent next turn. As long as you like survive, whatever you want to call it. So he's got the Vion. That's fine. I have the Impermanence. That's all good. I'm going to be able to bounce something to his hand. I have the Ash Blossom. I don't want him to draw 2 cards, which he would have been able to. Who knows what he would have gotten. So now I know Cross Guy tries to tribute to his zone. So I go ahead and throw that back at him. And then all I really have to wait for is a fusion spell at this point. He may have had one left in his hand. I didn't know what his last card was, but that's okay. Any 2 wind monsters make a rubber band shooter, so I can even normal summon Droll and Lockbird if I really wanted to. I'm not sure I have to do that here. There's a rubber band shooter. And I can send a couple cards. Didn't go the way I wanted, but that's fine. Yeah, I do go into the 4. I don't use puzzle anymore. It's actually not terrible in terms of like giving you more flexibility when searching your cards. I just found, in my experience, it's just okay. So the Elemental Hero Honest Neos tries to activate. I'll go ahead and negate that. This is something that I've also noticed. Just be careful, right? Because about what this card obviously lets you tribute itself to special summon something back. It's a level 9 or lower monster, but I had Crystal Clearwing Fast Dragon, not the other one that negates level 5 or higher monsters. So it wasn't in my graveyard, so I got this guy back, but it's not terrible. This is Infernoids. And this is decent enough. Yeah, this is the one I've been talking about. The Win Chandler. To have this many kind of Monster Reborn cards is typically really, really nice. I didn't use the effect because I discarded it earlier. You can only special summon it once, but that was the first time. Anytime that you can make Rubber Band before you make, or like after you make Higoita, you're feeling pretty good, right? It's going to be should be like a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon probably. Is going to come down. Here's the Red-Eyed Dice. Because you can make this a 2, then go into Quark Blaster and bring him right back. That's a great interaction, in my opinion. We'll see what I make this. I'm not quite sure yet. That can go to a Clear Wing Fast Dragon. And I have a Called by the Grave, which is decent enough, I guess. Against Infernoids, it's okay. Depending on what I don't want him to grab. But this is 2 monster negates. I mean, how truly upset can you be? Decatron, I think, didn't have any good targets. So that was a little unfortunate for him. I was kind of shocked, honestly, that he didn't use Lilith effect, because I don't really have anything to negate that. He tries to destroy my spell and trap, and he goes to do it once again. But I'll negate his graveyard because, you know, I don't want him to be able to summon anything back at that point. Negates the effect of Clear Wing. I'm not sure about that. I feel like it's kind of a waste. He probably could have waited, because now he's going to have to tribute his own Deviati. Higoita can come back. That means a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. If he doesn't use the effect there, then he's done. So, but if he does use it, and he doesn't have any monsters on the field, well, there's double Yo-Yo. So, R.I.P. in peace to you. Here is Penguins. I think he's using the new support. Yeah, which is really cool. I still love my build of it so far, but, you know, when Holly Firebrax eventually gets banned, although I'm sure he uses that too, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Oh, wow. He's a pure version. Oh, and he has the new support. So he's got it all coming for him. Everything turns into a water monster, that new XYZ monster, and pops a card. I didn't make a video about it. It was only 2 cards. I usually don't do those kinds of announcements. A couple monster negates. I probably could have extended forward here. We'll see what I end up doing. But there's the Great Emperor Penguin. Again, this card would be so much better, and I think they should have made a new card that essentially either special summons them in, you know, face-up attack, or maybe even flip face down. That would be so much better for the archetype. There is the one, though, that he obviously just used there, the Glacial Beast Polar Penguin. I can negate that attack. That way I can keep my plays going forward, which bounces the card when it's special summon. But they need more cards upon special summon if they really want us to go down this route. I know there was a lot of new cards, but they were pretty underwhelming. I made a video about that if you want to really check out the new Penguin support. Making things level 6 typically really helps out. And there we go. High Speedroid Clear Wing Rider. And I think I rolled a 3, so all of this stuff is getting popped. That's 5,000 attack at that point, and that's lethal. Just like that. And I still had a lot more extenders in my hand, too. Here is Super Quantum. This is a really nice opening. It's kind of ridiculous if you really think about it. Terratop, you can... I added a double Yo-Yo, which is fine. So now I'm kind of anti-Nibiru proof, which is neat. What I really should have added to my hand with either Marble or the frickin' Terratop, so that was a misplay by me. Well, you know, it all comes out equal to the end, because if you don't get what you want out of the play, you can just dump it out. So I guess it's just down to a personal preference at this point. Since I already have the monster negate, maybe this should have been defense position in retrospect. I can make that a 6 now. That way I can convert it later on to something else. 6, and then maybe I can go into a Shen Shen. This is a pretty decent end board, right? 2 monster negates plus everything from the field is banished. This card just gives everybody a bunch of fits, which makes sense. It's pretty powerful. Let's see what his field spell he is. Oh, it's Super Quantum. I think they need things to go to the graveyard, and I'm not sure they can always use it from the hand either. He's got a bunch of dangers. He keeps sniping himself, which is pretty bad, right? I don't mind those kinds of effects. Performance damage juggler. I mean, at this point, he's just like, okay, I don't really know what I'm going to be able to do here. I haven't used any of my negates yet. But I thought that was a pretty decent end board. I wanted to show that to you guys. And there's just like a few more duels left. for my comprehensive list of duels. Infinite Impermanence, Ash Blossom, plus play starters. So that's, you can't be too upset about that. Let's see, he goes for Dragma Punishment, or Dogmatica, as the kids say. Card Turbo is so good. It's really nice, because you would think if they pop it, you wouldn't be able to special summon it, but you can for Card Turbo. Now I can go into the Denko Duke to set myself up for plays later. Yeah, so I kind of grabbed 2 in this case when I sent the clear or fast wing there, because either effect is pretty good to, or either card is good to go to the graveyard, I should say. But again, you got to think, you're not trying to set yourself for negation. You're trying to go, for lethal. Oh, you can use this card at any time. It's so stupid, isn't it? So now I'm just grabbing extenders just to grab extenders at this point, which is so nuts. Like Goitik can come down. Here's the clear wing. It doesn't really matter what I draw. That will obviously destroy that. And here we go. Like double yo-yo even as a boosted attack. That's good enough to go for lethal. Don't have to make it too hard on yourself. Honestly, going first is like super difficult. But I think I said this in the name of the deck profile. This is very, very rewarding. Like the better you get and you feel it, right? And you're like, you used to like, oh, I can only do this, this, and this. So it's what I like. It kind of reminds me of Raid Raptors, although this is much more complicated than Raid Raptors. Just trying to like get good at Raid Raptors is rewarding. Like this is, you got to really try. Okay, so he has 2 negations here. Not bad. He gets rid of both my Lightning Storms, which I was lucky to, pull off the top. So I'll give myself a real chance. So we have the Terra Top here. I can go into the Take Tomborg. I have 3 monsters on the field. Yeah, I don't think I had the Denko just quite yet in the graveyard. I would love for that to be the kid. But you got to play it smart as you can. I think I go into a 2 here. And since I special summon, the Rubber Plane can come down, which is a level 5. Cork Blaster comes back to summon both of these. I think he's going to be able to pop a monster on my field, so I got to be careful here. But, big brain moves here. I guess I probably could have negated that. I wonder if it's negated, does it count as still being destroyed and going to the graveyard? I think this does destroy it. So, essentially, it's like I might as well just wait. See what he rips off the top. Disciples comes down. I can negate that because I don't want him to draw any cards, because who knows what he would end up getting off the top. I don't have any negations anymore, but he does have like really low life, so I'm going to be like very cautious about what I do. Like it could be a Mirror Force, I guess. Like that's the big worry. But at some point, just got to be like, okay, if he's not stopping anything I'm doing, what happens if I just attack him? So yeah, I mean, I guess I could have walked into a Drowning Mirror Force. It's my fault to a certain extent. Sometimes you just got to take those risks. Yeah, goes in match. Maybe a good card for some. I don't know if this was a card I would main deck. I used to in Sacred Beast, like my original build. Kind of nostalgic for that, obviously. He's going to go into a Totally Awesome, and he waits forever to use it. It's so nuts, dude. So he's got the good mats. He's got the Forbidden Droplet, so a pretty good hand. We'll see how much I can fight through this disruption here. I can just play through it. I can only summon wind monsters, so he's just literally does nothing at all. So my goal, for the most part, is to summon Crystal Wing as fast as possible. So there we go. For whatever reason, he wants to hold on to his Toad, but now I have the negate for it. The rest of my plays are unimpeded as far as I know, but he does have the Forbidden Droplets. We'll see kind of where he decides to use it. I'm not sure just quite yet. 2 Crystal Wing Synchro Dragons. And the Party Horn Kid comes down. There we go. The Rubber Band Shooter. I may even try to go into the Clear Wing, just to like kind of pop the rest of his cards on his field. Eventually he's going to try to use this Totally Awesome, and I'm going to negate that, if you can imagine. I can lower the attack of that, just for whatever. Cork Blaster comes down. I can add the Speedroid Spell and Trap to bounce something to his hand, especially if he has, like, if he goes into another Bahamut Shark. And there we go. I would end up, negating that and just having the follow-up plays necessary to end this duel, which is very nice. He would, really be out of resources, even if he was able to stop everything that I was doing. Well, that was a longer look than I thought. I had a lot of replays. I tried to just show you guys a little bit of everything. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you really like this deck, I just posted the deck profile yesterday. But other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I will see you guys next time.